tomorrow's not promised, so why are you stressing about it? Yesterday already happened and there's nothing you can do. Why not just appreciate what you have right in front of you? Because you used to pray for a time like this. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Tia. If you guys are not new, hey, welcome back. So I'm really excited for today's video, and if you guys haven't noticed, I kind of took a little, break from putting out content because I wanted to make sure that what I put out is not just to put out content, but stuff that I really care about. And something that I feel like is really important and that I really want to base my brand off of is just being authentic and honest, because I feel like a lot of times we feel alone in this world. We feel like you're the only one going through something, or like no one understands me, because we don't hear people talk about touchy topics or kind of taboo topics. So I would like to share with you guys some things that I personally go through in my life that I overcome or that I'm overcoming. So if you're going through the same thing, we can get through it together and kind of just show you another perspective on the situation that you might be dealing with. So something that I really felt necessary to talk about that I've been realizing in my own life is the idea that it's not over yet. And you might be thinking okay, what's not over? The world ending? No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, there's more to come. And I say that because for myself, I'm in a position in my life where first of all, looking back last year, I was a completely different person I am now. And I feel a lot more stable, a lot more mentally sound, but at the same time, a little bit stagnant. And I say that because last year, this time, I was anxious, depressed, just not knowing what was going to happen in my future, because I was in college, senior year, not doing well in my classes, didn't know how to tell my parents that I was struggling with school and just struggling in life. And I literally did not know if I was going to be able to graduate. I didn't know if I had it in me to finish my classes. And all this was going on, and I just kind of kept taking it day by day and keeping this all to myself because I didn't want to bother people with my problems. So just really internalizing all these negative thoughts about myself to the point where it just got bad. And eventually I just had to tell my family school is not going well for me. I don't even know if I'm gonna graduate. And obviously, when I told my family this, they were like, what? You said everything was fine. You kept saying everything was fine. What do you mean you might not graduate? What's going on? And I was like, yeah, I've actually been super sad for the past 8 months. I don't have motivation to get out of bed in the morning. And, I show up to class and I get what's going on, but I don't feel like doing anything. And when I try to get help, I just feel like it's not clicking for me. I can't focus in class. I forget things a lot. And even though I'm intelligent, I'm not doing okay mentally, which is translating in the classroom. And at first it was kind of frustrating for my family, understandably, because they're like, why didn't you say something sooner? We could have got you help sooner. And it was towards the end of my spring semester that all this was happening. They're like, and now you don't know if you're gonna graduate. We're preparing for you to graduate. It's just, they were like, if you did something sooner, we could have did something sooner. And I just waited till the last minute. Why? Because I didn't want to bother anyone with my problems, and I figured I could figure this out on my own. Right? I didn't want to put my burdens to anyone else. I got myself in this position. I can get myself out. If I don't tell anyone, no one's gonna be on my back, and I can just figure it out. And for the longest, I kept telling myself, I'm gonna figure it out, I'm gonna figure it out. To the point where I just never figured it out, and I just did not do anything because I was just suffering in silence. By the way, my lashes were lifted for the beginning of this video, so ignore that. But fast forward to today, a year later, I have a career. And back then too, I was just bad in all aspects of my life. The only thing that had good going for me was the fact that I had family and friends that loved me. But yeah, fast forward to now, I have a career in the field that I graduated in because I did complete college. I still have my family that loves and supports me. I'm in therapy. I was kind of off and on with a couple of therapists, but I found a therapist that I like, that I'm sticking with. I have money in my account to go ahead and fly to Canada, and that's literally where I am now. I was like, oh, I want to do something with my life because it got like a little boring, and I was just like, you know, doing the same thing every day. So I was like, let me go to Canada. So now I'm in Canada. I'm modeling full time. Last year, when all this was happening, I didn't step foot on a runway. I've modeled since in Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Miami, and just like had photo shoots and stuff like that. Like, I have accomplished so much from my lowest point this time last year. And I wouldn't have gotten here, number one, if I didn't finally speak up, if I didn't finally say like, I'm not doing okay. Because me admitting that I couldn't do everything on my own is what catalyzed like my family getting involved, and just me holding myself to a different standard because now I have other people looking at me to do better. So number one, I spoke up. The biggest thing was God. Even I would say my relationship with God got a lot better the end of last year, but even in like the middle of last year, God was always working in my life. Even when I felt like I was far from him, he was right next to me, even if I just couldn't see him myself, or even if I was just turning my head from him. Like, he was always in my life. So he's the reason why I was able to get myself back on my feet, because he introduced me to people that would guide me back to him. He brought relationships into my life that would really draw me near to him. And he put poor relationships, or he allowed poor relationships to foster my life to a point where I couldn't run away from him anymore, and I had to lean on someone other than myself. So all this happened last year, and you know, there were ups and downs throughout last year. It's not like I went from like, oh, my life sucks, to oh my gosh, my life is great. It was ups and downs, but the point is, I'm here now with my own YouTube channel, with a modeling career, with a career in healthcare, with being financially okay enough to travel when I want, with family that loves me and supports me, with my health, with my strength, with a lot more than I would say that I had last year. And the thing that I gave it was time. And something that I also struggled with was expecting my life to change overnight. Things don't get better overnight. Like, we have to go through the process. We have to allow ourselves to fall so low sometimes so we can really be humbled to the point where we say, I can't do this on my own anymore. Like, what needs to change? Who can I ask for help? I have to say I'm not okay. And sometimes like our pride gets in the way of that. But, it really just got to a point for me that was like, I'm not okay. And I had to ask my family for help. I got a point, in my life again last year where I was like, I'm not okay. I had to turn to God. And that's when I did my social media cleanse. That's when I fasted for 21 days with food. And that's when I really grew closest to God, because I was not leaning on my own understanding anymore, because I realized how much I don't know. At the time I was 21, now I'm 22. Like, as a 21, 22-year-old, like, I didn't know anything, and I felt like, okay, like, I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Let me turn to my creator to see what he has planned for my life. And now, obviously I'm in a better position than I was last year, as I just kind of brought you guys through my story within the last year. And I found myself kind of saying like, I'm a little bored. Like, that's why I'm in Canada. I don't want to do something in my life. I'm in Canada. But I kind of found myself like feeling like, is this how life is supposed to be? Like, I'm 22. I just go to work, go to the gym, go to church, see my friends, family. But I'm like, is this all there is to life? Like, is this how it's supposed to be? Because I was just so used to chaos. I was so used to uncertainty. I was so used to feeling like I was walking on eggshells, to the point when I was actually walking on flat land, I was like, is something wrong? Is something right? And I realized like exactly where you are in your life, whether you're on eggshells or you're on stable, flat ground, is exactly where you're supposed to be. So rather than worrying about the past, which you can't control, or the future that's going to come anyway, I just started practicing being more mindful of the present. And when I'm going through bad times, thinking like, okay, yeah, my life is not where I want to be right now, but like, why? Like, what is God trying to show me in this time? Why do I need to be humbled? Like, what do I have to be submissive to? What information do I have to learn? Now that I'm stable, I'm realizing You know, I'm not really looking for like a roller coaster of events to happen in my life. Like, God clearly wants me to appreciate this moment, because last year, if you had told me like, Tia, just wait a year and you'll be stable, I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Like, I was craving stability because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And now that I'm stable, I'm like, oh, where's the spice in my life, you know? But yeah, so it's kind of like we always want what we don't have, but it's like when you appreciate the moment, it's like you are able to really be present. Tomorrow's not promised, so why are you stressing about it? Yesterday already happened and there's nothing you can do. Why not just appreciate what you have right in front of you? Because you used to pray for a time like this. And even if you're like thinking to yourself, like, Tia, like, I'm at my lowest point right now, I never prayed to be here. Okay, you didn't pray to be here. You prayed for maybe financial success. Maybe you prayed for a better love life. Maybe you prayed for your parents to love you and nurture you more, and you feel like you're at your lowest point. Something that's going on in your life right now is going to catalyze what you've been praying for. God, you know, he could just give us, he gave us the Bible, which pretty much tells us how to live, right? But he could give us an easy life, but that would kind of like not let us to appreciate certain things. So what you're going through right now, this low point that you're in your life right now, I can promise you that it's happening in order for you to go ahead and have like success, but there's something you need to learn right now before you get there. So when I say you have time, I don't mean, you know, slack off, push your problems away. I mean, focus on whatever's in your life right now. Take this present moment to just really be in this present moment. Look at the beautiful blessings that you have around you, and look at the battles that you have in your life too, because it's revealing something to you. It's revealing an area that you're vulnerable to. Look at both those areas in your life and just really think like, okay, how can I heal this wound? Like, how can I overcome this battle with the blessings that are already in my life? Because sometimes I realize when we're going through a hardship in our life, we'll look at the future like, I just want this, right? You just want the solution to the current battle that you're going through, not knowing that that blessing that you're asking for has its own battles with it. We will never escape the bad that comes in life, right? But where there's bad, there's good, and where there's good, there's bad. You just have to know how to balance the two of them. And right now, I'm also thinking about how, because I struggled so much in school, how I'm a little anxious about going back to school. Like I said, high school me, I was like, I'm gonna go to dental school. Like, duh, I'm gonna be like a dentist at like 23, 24 or something like that, right? Like, you asked me that, I would have told you that very confidently. Now you ask me like, oh, so like, what are your plans? I would like to go to school. I hope I can, you know, go to school. I hope that I'm mentally strong enough to finish school. I hope that, you know, I can be disciplined enough to, like, you know, stay on top of school. I hope that, you know, I'm disciplined enough to stick with therapy to help me get through school. And there's a lot of like insecurity and unsureness with my answers about the future because of the mistakes that I made. But something that I'm realizing now is like, I made those mistakes, but that's not who I am. That's who I had to be to become the woman that I am now. And the only way that I can remain that woman is if I remain in that mindset, if I remain insecure. And I'm realizing I don't want to be questioning if I can finish school. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to finish school. Even saying that right now, there was hesitation. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna upload this, and if I don't go to school, like, people are like, I think I'm supposed to go to school. So even like, you know, now I still have some insecurity. It's not gonna go away overnight. It's okay. And even with modeling, like, people ask me all the time, like, oh, like, you model, like, would you do it full time? And I was like, yeah, like, I would love to do it full time, but there's still the insecurity of like, is my body good enough? Like, is my personality good enough? Like, am I good enough? And there's a lot of like insecurity that I realized that I'm currently battling with. Like, that's my current battle. Not am I capable of it, because God would not put me in a position if I wasn't able to do it. So I know, you know, when I get into school, it's because I can complete school. I know that when I get these modeling opportunities, because I can model, but it's a matter of like my own perception of myself that I'm realizing is my current battle right now. And it's something that I have to overcome, because God does not place us anywhere that we're not supposed to be, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. And also, like, I don't want to live a life of mediocrity because, not because someone else told me no, but because I told myself no, out of fear that they would tell me no. We only have this like one life to live, and it's not going to be perfect, but it's all about the journey. And I'm realizing, you know, I'm not saying live a risky, dangerous life, but if you're going to take risks, like at least take risks on yourself and dare to believe in yourself. Dare to believe that you're capable. Dare to believe that, you know, you're smart enough, that you're strong enough, that you can do it. But yeah, that's just currently what I'm going through. And I also said that to say, like, even though I'm in a better place than I was last year, I'm still like battling certain things. And that's just simply life. But we can focus on the battles, or we can focus on the blessings, or we can take both as it is and just take it day by day. And that's currently what I'm doing. So I don't know who this video was for. Obviously, there's a bunch of people probably gonna see this who I don't know exist, and you probably never knew I exist, but hey, how you doing? But yeah, I just wanted to share my story with you guys. And this is something that I would not have talked about last year, because I would have been insecure about the fact that almost didn't graduate. Well, you know, I had to take some extra time in school, right? I would have been embarrassed about that. But I want you to know that school doesn't dictate your intelligence, and don't let your past mistakes define your future. Even if someone else tries to hold that against you, they know that previous version of you, but you decide who you are every single day when you wake up. You know, give yourself time and be patient, because the same way that I was able to grow into the woman I am now, I know that a year from now, Tia is one of the most confident women that I've ever met, because I'm instilling that in myself now. So I really hope that this video, I know it was long, but I hope that whoever watched this, you know, kind of take whatever you need from it and give it all you got. And if you found this video to be relatable, or if you want to share your own testimony in the comments, go ahead and comment it down below. I'd love to hear them and kind of hear about what you're going through and like how you plan on evolving. Or even if you don't know how you're planning on evolving, just where you want to see yourself. Go ahead and check out my previous video about the vision boards that I made that helped me get to this place. Literally on my vision board, I had that I graduated college, I had that I traveled outside the US, I had that I was working out, I had all these things I was actually able to accomplish last year. So I really think that the more that you see your goals, the more they come into fruition. So I'll leave my video to that linked in this video as well. But yeah, have a safe and blessed day. You're awesome. You're a rock star. And spread love. Peace.